Listen.
Welcome to Div Tech 101, aka Black Mantle, as I discuss information technology, also known as IT. And last week I was talking to you all and I was telling you about apps, how they are disappearing basically from people's phone, and we're getting more into artificial intelligence and what we know as AI today. And I'm going to basically break this down for you to show you exactly why this is replacing the apps themselves. Now, we are in, as we all know, an AI age right now. We're in the age of being able to basically talk and type into ChatGPT as opposed to using the applications as what we need them for. So, not apps, not chatbots, not Siri, not any of that. I mean, real autonomous agents that basically we be able to think, act, decide, schedule, take care of, and take tasks on your behalf. And so, what I want to look at today, I want to be transparent as I always am on the channel. This is the future that we're in right now. And this future that we're in is coming faster than what you think. So, as we get into this today, keep your eyes open, keep your mind open, and I'm going to tell you why AI agents will replace everything that we use today. So, just to give you a little bit of a recap, if we look back in time and look back in the day, we can go back about 15 years ago from today. 15 years ago, the apps controlled the digital world that we live in. When we look at our phones that we have so much in our hand, I'm always showing on the channel. When we look at our phones, what we are basically looking at from that 15-year mark on and back, every service wanted an app specifically for their line of business. So when you look at your bank, where you used to traditionally go into a bank, you now have your apps on there, such as Bank of America, American Express, Chase Manhattan, like all these banks had applications. When we look at your doctors, even your doctor's offices have your electronic health records or EHR records. When you look at your bills that you pay, for example, depending on where you are, if you have an AT&T bill, or I remember people used to go to the store physically and pay those when they were Singular Wireless or Bell South. You look at all these different kind of bills and utilities that you pay. There's an app for that. Everybody's just getting an app designed for it. Then you start getting into these schools. There's an app for that. Your doorbell to your house, there's an app for that. Ring, Blink, whatever it is that you may use, and you understand, you get it. And even your washing machines and toasters and your dryers, they all have an app. Even the refrigerators now have an app for that. That is the world that we live in right now. Every service has it. But over time, something has happened. All these apps have taken so much data. And that data, of course, as I always explain on the channel, is being hosted in a data center somewhere where you have no idea where that's at. And it's gotten to a point where people now, since they have moved a lot to using Chat GPT and all that, they kind of have an app fatigue, kind of getting tired of apps because people are getting bombarded with notifications to let them know what's going on around them. The settings are hidden, deep inside other settings. And it's just an endless amount of logins and multiple updates throughout the week. The apps didn't really simplify people's lives. It just made them much more aware of what's going on their phone, and it made them have their phone in their hand every 60 seconds, checking an application. Now, these apps, It simply gave you more tasks that you had to manage. And so when you look at the change that has taken place in the time that we live in right now, this is why the future doesn't belong to the apps, but it belongs more to the agents that are taking over. And when you look at the agents, you have to understand the big difference between AI and agents in themselves. So you may ask yourself, well, what exactly is an agent? When you look at an agent in the simplest way that I can explain it to you is basically being able to have some type of chatbot to basically answer questions for you. And what it does is while the chatbot answers questions for you, an app waits for you to tap something. So, for example, you tap on the Google Maps on your phone, you open the app, and then you punch in the directions. Of course, it tells you where to go, but then your agent is going to be something that you can actually talk to that's going to actually work in the background and actually generate whatever the response is that you need in order to fulfill the obligation that you're looking into. And so that agent takes action all by itself. And it's almost like, the old cartoon, The Jetsons. People used to watch that. And that is actually coming to real life right now. But you don't tell it how to do something. You tell it what you want done. It goes out and makes the connections and make things work. And so the agent finds the app, it logs in, it looks at your data, makes decisions, and then it completes that task and give you the results that you need. And based off of that, you can keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And that is the shift that we're in right now. We're going from pressing apps on our phone and interacting in a contained environment on our screen. And many of you probably got multiple tabs. Like, for example, I'm looking at my phone right now. I got like 4 different screens with like applications on it there. But now people are pretty much using almost less than a couple of applications to do what they need. But when you look at the real world examples that we live in right now, let's take, for example, somebody out there who's ordering food. And this is going to be kind of how, real examples of how and why agents replace apps. When you look at the way that people order food right now, you used to download the company app on your phone, Taco Bell, KFC, McDonald's, whatever the case may be, Young Brands, whatever. Today, people open up DoorDash, and what they do is they scroll, they pick a restaurant, customize the order, and confirm the address, and basically pay. Now, I haven't used DoorDash myself before because I don't not hadn't gotten used to that yet, but I've known people and have seen people do it. And with an agent, the agent is basically going to have you to order. You can basically tell it to order you the usual. So as you're typing into it, it's memorizing what you actually want, and it handles everything, takes care of it, and all that. So you're going from opening the app, pushing everything, configuring it manually with your fingers to basically telling the app to order your usual, and boom, you have it. And some of this is even popping up on your phone to pay bills. You pay bills through an app on your phone, like the Siri, for example. If you got an iPhone, it basically will do the same thing. Then you got to start looking at your bills. You open up 8 different apps to look at bills every single month: water bill, light bill, gas bill, phone bill. But now, if you have an agent in place, you basically talk to the agent. The agent will tell you that your power bill is paid, and then your Wi-Fi bill has basically increased by X number of dollars a month. So it negotiated it back down on your behalf in the background. Now, is that a little bit too much, or is it not? Because I almost kind of have a bittersweet kind of thing with AI and technology because I understand the technical aspect of it, but then I also understand technology has really made people really, really lazy now, and people are not thinking the way that they used to think and having to use their head. But it's helping people manage. And even to the point when it comes to fitness, you have the fitness apps, it tracks your sleep, your calories, and all that. But then if you have an agent, that agent basically can have the possibility of basically adjusting a nutrition plan based on yesterday's sleep and stress levels that you may have. So you kind of see and get the gist of how this works. And it happens with travel and cybersecurity. I mean, when you look at opening up, for example, like Expedia application, You're having to book all your trips and stuff. What about if you basically told your phone um, that you want to travel here, and it basically booked your flight, selected your seat, and seen your itinerary with your calendar? That right there would be convenient for business executives. I'm sure they would probably use that a lot. And then you look at the cybersecurity aspect is people used to install antivirus by CDs on their computer, download them from online and get it installed VPNs, firewalls, and multi-factor authentication applications where people used to do that. Now your home network is secure if an agent was able to configure all that for you and basically patch any vulnerabilities that you needed with no action needed. And it reminds me of like Tony Stark, for example, like Iron Man, the way that he had his network and everything. This is what this reminds me of. But when we look at this, though the agents remove the friction too, because you don't have the menus, the icons, you just get the outcomes of what you actually need. And the agent basically is able to understand the things that you need because it's going to look at your habits. It's going to look at the routines and the different type of lifestyle that you're living in order for it to make it work. And the apps just simply cannot do that at this time because that's not what they were designed for. And even when your agents work across the different applications, they work independently, holistically, and everything is in its own ecosystem and it just syncs together so well in order for you to actually be able to get things done. And then it being able to properly predict and participate and predict what your problems are. The app has to wait, but the agent actually predicts. It gets down through there and it tries to figure out it in the best way that it needs to, so that way you be able to basically multitask because the agents are faster than humans can think. You can look at how ChatGPT is doing right now, generating information for people at fast speeds. And some people take it and run with it, and paraphrase and all that stuff. But other people actually have thought about it and they use it as a resource, and that's fine. But being able to take this automation and you're using it to be able to multitask, this is where the apps are going to lose at. So you're going to start seeing them fade off the phones, and this is how the agents are beginning to be set up with this. And so as we take, as we discussing this, you have to understand is where I can definitely foresee that we're looking into an age of invisible apps because they're not they may not disappear completely, but the intersection is definitely coming up real close where we're going to see it almost in hindsight because the applications they basically run in the background continuously on your phone, but the agents, they run through an API, and that's how they talk behind the scenes to get information and everything. And the app store becomes the agent store. So, what do you all think about that piece? This may happen so quick because your phone becomes a command center and not a folder full of useless applications that you're not able to use anymore effectively. So even just looking at, for example, the next 12 months from right now, there is a shift that is happening. There's a shift that is happening right now. And the we also have to look at, for example, is there anything in the pipeline for Apple? They use Apple Intelligence on the iPhones. What kind of new technology is going to be showing up there? How is Google going to search around these different edges? Because remember, our original Chat GPT back in the day, and I remember before Google came out, just being able to go on Google and search the web was like how people use Chat GPT today is how we used Google going through college back then. Even when we was in high school, of course, we didn't have Google, but now students are able to basically use this right now as is. So you look at Apple, Google, Facebook, or Meta, X, Microsoft. They're they're all going their own different directions in here, and companies are seeing the writing on the wall. They're reacting to it, and you're going to see a lot of change over the next 12 months to 24 months. It's the beginning of an agent era, and if you're watching this video right now, you're definitely going to be ahead of the curve because you're going to be at least aware of what's going on. So as you take a look at the landscape of everything, just keep in mind that the apps dominated the last decade, but the AI agents will most definitely dominate this next one that we are coming into. And so here's my question for you, because I like to always leave a question on the table for you all to pick your brain here. My question is, do you think that agents will make life easier, or will it basically give companies too much control of your information? So definitely put that in the comments below. Definitely drop your thoughts and everything. Look forward to bringing more content to you soon. Once again, this is DivTech 101, aka Black Mantle, down the tech unfiltered portion of the channel. See you in the next video. Stay sharp, stay secure, subscribe for more tech with purpose, only on DivTech 101.